Alrighty, well, hey everybody, how's it going? This is an update on the off-road chopper. Yeah, can't talk. Sorry, been a long day. Okay. Anyway, when you put these torque converters together, this rear nut, I usually put it on with about 40 pounds of torque. I don't want to go above that because I don't want to break the clip that is back here on the back side. You see the cone? There's a snap ring clip back here. I don't want to break it. Now when you put them in, make sure that you have the keyed 5/8 inch washer back behind, between the plate back there and the sprocket, because your quarter-inch keyway goes, or quarter-inch key goes into that washer, and it rides up on the bearing hub. Out here goes the non-keyed washer for the 5/8 shaft, and I usually put them on there with about 35 to 40 pounds of torque, and that's it. You don't want to over torque it, because if you do, you're going to break that clip back there and you're going to yank the shaft out. And it really doesn't need that much because the key holds it. Now, look at the belt number right there. It's 203589 or 5959. And you see this side to engine because that is the flat side of the belt, and the forward pulley is a flat side pulley, and the rear pulley is also flat on the engine side. It's beveled on this side and beveled up here. Anyway, the 5959, this is a Manco 5959 belt, which fits these 30 series torque converters very well. They last quite a while. They handle quite a bit, as long as you don't have burrs or anything like that on your pulleys, and as long as you have your brass sleeve that goes on that rear mounted or the front mounted drive pulley. It's got a collet that comes out, and there's a brass sleeve that goes in there, and the brass sleeve, you can't see it, but it's up in there. Okay. Anyway, the Manco 5959 belts, you can get them real cheap on Amazon. These belts usually run me about $8 a piece, and I have Amazon Prime, so I get free shipping. But I usually order 3 or 4 at a time because, you know Brad, he tears up a lot of belts. Anyway, when you put these together, make sure that you have your keyed washer out here. If you're missing the keyed washer, you can order that also on Amazon with the bolt kit, which is like $12, I think, for that washer. And I usually put about 30 pounds of torque on that bolt, no more. Anything over that, you're going to take a chance on stripping something, breaking a bolt or whatever, and there's not a lot of pressure on that. All it's doing is holding this disc from sliding off. It doesn't have to be horsed down real bad, just like that one doesn't have to be really horsed down. It doesn't take a whole lot of torque to hold those two bolts in, because this is centrifugal pressure, which means the pressure goes this way, not this way. And it's rotational pressure, and this is keyed and this is keyed. So it doesn't take a whole lot to hold that on. But as you can see, a Manco 5959 belt fits the TAV3 torque converter you can get on Amazon, and they're $60-70 for the torque converter with the plate, the cover, and everything. And if you ruin a belt, the belts are $8. So I use these on a lot of my stuff. I mean, I use that same belt on the Manco or the Maniac. And the Maniac, you guys know how that thing handles. It's pretty quick. It's got a lot of power. But this is a mostly stock 212 Predator. The only thing I've done is upgraded the valve springs to 18-pound springs. And the only reason why I did that is because, if I ever decide to loosen up the governor a little bit, I don't have to upgrade the springs. It's already done. But, you know, I'm going to leave it governed for now with the throttle restrictor screw out. So I'm going to be turning more than stock RPMs. But I haven't modified this engine yet. And if you watch my last video about my forks, that I redid the forks on it, and the rake actually turned out really well. I've got a little extra ground clearance on the front, which is going to help me climb. But I'm not looking to do wheelies or nothing like that. I just want an off-road mini chopper. I still got to, you know, tighten down the motor and the chain, and I've got to maybe space the motor up a little bit. I don't know yet. But also, when you install these, you've got to have a collet between that pulley and the engine. If you don't, you're going to eat your seal out of your engine. If you are missing that collet, you can get 3/4 inch lock collets, and they come in a package of 2 from Tractor Supply, and they're about $6. And they have an Allen bolt in them. Here we go. Shaft collets, and they have an Allen bolt in it. You just pull the Allen bolt out. You don't need the set screw on that, but you can pull that out and slide that up on there, and it'll work just fine for a spacer to go between the taper on the shaft to the torque converter, and it'll line it up perfectly straight with that package of spacers from Tractor Supply. Now, since this engine, as you can see, it's setting in a pretty decent rake, instead of putting 16 ounces of oil, I'm going to put 19 ounces of oil in it, and then 1 ounce of Marvel Mystery Oil, because I plan on running this thing kind of hard, you know, off-road and all that, so I want that extra lubrication to stick to my internal parts on the engine and help, you know, extend the engine life. Yeah, you guys can laugh at my fat boy seat. That's fine, I don't care. That's the old seat off of Black Betty, my motorcycle. And I added a little extra padding to it, you know, make it a little bit more comfortable, but it is a wide seat, and I'm planning on putting ammo cans on the side of this for saddlebags, if it's possible. I think it'd look really cool for ammo can saddlebags, painted the same color. But the seat mount worked out really well. I had to take the cover off the seat, and I put some bolts through the seat with washers and a nut, and then I made my bracket, and I put another nut on the bottom of the bracket to lock it down on the front and back. You see them hanging down there. And to take the seat off, it just takes 3 nuts to remove the seat, and I can take the seat off. But I like the little cavity that I've got here, because I think I could find a small ATV battery to fit in that space to make my battery box there, or somewhere up in here. You know, I want to try to keep this clean, but if I have to, I'll make an engine top plate and then mount the battery on top of that under the gas tank. You know, that's still something to come, because I'd like to put a charging system on this, and I've already got parts ordered to do it. I just got to figure out that part. But in order to fire this, I've got to hook up a throttle, the fuel line, tension the chain, and move the engine where I want to and square up the rear end, and then it's going to be ready to fire off and run. But we'll give you an overall look again. I think it's turning out to be a pretty cool little off-road mini chopper. I can't wait to ride it. Hopefully I'm going to be taking it for a ride tomorrow. I definitely really like that more aggressive rake on the front end. Now you can see the more aggressive rake to that front end. Anyway, hopefully I can update you guys again later. We'll see y'all. Bye.